Hey everyone, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to move your body correctly so that you can play better golf. We're going to talk about your pivot. Here's what we got to talk about. Let's assume that you have a good grip and you're set up to the ball correctly. Now what we're trying to do is we got to create some energy to run through the golf ball because we definitely need to hit the ball somewhere. So this is where a lot of people go wrong. In an effort to create power, they wind up doing some really funky things with their body when we really need to simplify it. So the bottom line is, if you're over the golf ball like this, and we're going to try to get some power to hit it, this is where the club is when it's behind the ball. When you make a golf swing, you want that club to come down, hit the golf ball, and take some turf after it. This is when you're hitting an iron. All right, so now we got to figure out how we're going to generate some power to do that. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, in an effort to generate power, they will take their body and they'll move it over here, trying to get way over here, thinking it's going to give them a lot more power. Well, now they've just moved their low point of their swing over here. Now, the only way they can get that low point onto the ball is come moving all the way back this way. The odds of them doing that consistently, not very good, and they usually don't. Then you'll have someone who will go way down to crank it up. Well, if you go down this far, you're going to have to come up this way in order to make any sort of attempt at hitting that ball, and that's not going to work out too well for you. And then another way that it's done is people will come way up in the air here. Well, if you're way up here, you're going to have to get way back down there. Again, the odds of you doing that consistently, now maybe if you swung the club thousands of times a day, you might be able to develop some consistency in that, but we're trying to make the game easier. That's why you want to get your grip correct, your setup correct, your alignment correct, so that this game becomes a lot easier. We don't want you getting in your own way. See, that's the problem, people get in their own way. So, how are we going to pivot so that we can create some energy? Well, one of the ways I suggest people is to practice is what you need to do is you can take an alignment stick or a golf club and you can place it just inside your trail foot. Now you're going to get yourself in your golf posture and you're going to hold a club up here. Now when you go ahead and you wind up to your right, I like to use the word wind up, turn. Anybody can turn and do it incorrectly. I want to see you wind your upper body up like this so that this club gets in line with the one on the ground. See how it's pointed down a little bit? It's not like this. If it's like this, this means you come out of your posture. So here we are. We're going here. Right shoulder's a little lower than the left. Going to wind that right hip behind you and make sure that this club is pointed down towards the ground. Now, one of the things I look for in all my students is to make sure that they've created a slight angle in their back here. This lets me know you've gotten over onto your trail side. If your back looks like this, you might turn around and say, you know, hey, I've wound up. Well, you're still over here on your lead side. And what's going to happen from here is you're going to go back this way. This is what they call the reverse pivot. So again, you're going to get yourself in here like this. Take your right hip, wind it up behind you, goes behind you. So then the pressure is going to go to your trail heel. Put some force in there, and then you're going to maintain your spine angle. Now from here, all it is a slight lateral shift and push into the left foot, and do that. Practice thousands of those. So if I come this direction here, and you want to do these in a mirror, because that'll help, that'll let you see if you're doing it correctly. So here I am, going to wind up, and what you notice here is that I've stayed in my original spine angle right here. The left shoulder has gone down, the right shoulder has gone up, right hip's up. So then from here, it's just push into the lead side and unwind. If you can do thousands of those a day, and I'm not kidding, then all of a sudden your body movement will become natural. You won't have to think about it when you're swinging. There's too many people doing all sorts of crazy things out there. And hey, remember, if you're moving around a lot, it's tough to get this thing back on that ball. I mean, it's all just a matter of luck. I want you to get in there, and I want you to get here, and I want you to wind up. Get that right hip behind you. Get loaded onto this trail side. Really wind up that trail side here. So you're onto the inside of your trail foot, and then from here, as you're extended up here, you can go down and get it. You can push into that lead side. That lead side will now push back, and that's your golf swing. Too many people are so conscious on, oh, well, we got to make sure I turn my shoulders twice as much as my hips. Well, most people don't get their hips turned at all, you know, as it is. We want to get that right hip. It's just as if, you know, one of the cool things to think of, if you go in a gym and you got those pulley things in there, see that right hip goes up and back as the right shoulder goes up and back? It's one of these moves right here. And then it just back the other way. So it looks like this from the front. You're gonna, this right hip or trail hip, left-handers it would be your left hip, it's gonna go back behind you. See how, it's just like if you've ever pulled a lawnmower, you're starting a lawnmower, it's like this. So the reason why it's really important that you're looking in a mirror when you do this is because you might get this trail hip to go behind you, but you might do one of these and see you're over here. We don't want that. So the trail hip goes back behind you. That pulls the force to the heel, the inside of the heel, but this lead shoulder will go down and across so that you form this nice angle in your back. Then once you're here, you can start getting into it, pressing down into that lead side, and then go. Again, don't make it harder than it has to be. I mean, really, if you can just work on, and you know, you can do this anywhere. I mean, you don't have to be at a golf course. I mean, definitely any sort of reflection. Like if you're, for instance, you're on the Las Vegas Strip, there's tons of stores out there. You can just get yourself in a reflection and practice your pivot. I mean, people might think you're weird. You're in Las Vegas, they're not gonna think you're weird. That's the least thing they're gonna think here. So you're gonna wind this up, push, clear out of the way. From this angle, trail hip up and back, lead shoulder down and across. Look at this, I've stayed in my spine angle. Now I just push down. Then this lead leg is gonna push that lead hip out of the way and go. If you go to tour events, you'll see a lot of the tour players. I mean, if they're waiting to hit and they're having a conversation with each other, as they're talking, they're sitting there, that's just what they're doing. They're just rehearsing their move. Because I'm gonna tell you this, when you go to swing a golf club, as you know, if you're thinking of positions and things like that, it's too difficult. You can't do it. You wanna just put yourself on autopilot. If you rehearse this, wind up. So once you, it's like you're pulling, you're stretching this rubber band way up here, and then you're gonna let it go. And the amount of stretch and then the release of that goes down and around is just insane. So keep it simple. Just got to remember that that ball is there. If you're moving this way, that way, if you're moving all over the place, it's not gonna work. So going back to the point is, balance is important. That's why setup's important. Alignment's very important as well in order to perform this pivot correctly. So you can do this. You wanna get this down. Remember, grip, posture, pivot. If you can get those three things, you're definitely gonna be ahead of the game. You're gonna be ahead of a lot of people that have been playing for a long time and they don't have those three things. So work on those, see how they go. Let me know how it goes. I'm pulling for you. Everyone, thanks so much for watching. I really hope this helped you out. I'll see you next time.